Hello everybody, welcome to another presentation presented by Code Cyclone. Last time we checked out what packages were inside the UDK. Just a quick recap, if you are a little hazy on it, packages are just a simple collection of your game assets that can be categorized by groups, or by titles or keys or whatever you want to call them. Pretty much it's just a way of collectively sorting your game assets into little folders, if you want to think of it in a visual way. So let's get to it. So, like I said, we're going to start importing some things. Last time we made this new package. I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's good to go. It's fully loaded. And we're going to go ahead and toss this temp guy. We'll just delete it. Alright, and let's go ahead and import something. We can right click and import, or we can click the import button down here. You guys can't see it on my screen. It'll really help you out there. There we go. Import, you can see it down there. Now, I just like to right click and import. And what we're going to do is we're going to do, I believe it's on my desktop. Just a second, there we are, Code Cyclone. Project Assets, my zombie survival game that I've been working on. Let's import, we'll do a texture first. An icon. Just a little icon. Player spawn. Sure. We gotta bring, come on, bring this over. As you can see, it's going to default to the package we right-clicked on. It's going to take in the name of the file, and it's going to give us some options here. For textures, for 2D textures rather, there's really nothing you need to worry about right here. Maybe just this, create material. This is always nice that it'll do it for you, and I'll explain what the difference is in a minute. So we're going to go and keep the standard stuff, and we'll click OK. Yeah, it'll just say if it's not fully loaded, go ahead and load it. So, and you definitely want to do that so you can modify the package. We're going to go ahead and save it. Oh, we deleted you. Thank you. Okay. Now, let me explain the difference between a texture and a material. A two-dimensional texture is simply that. It's just an image, just a graphic. Now, a material is something that can be physically applied to a skeletal, static, or in-game object. So think of this like an icon and like a tree. You got a tree icon, you have the tree. You know, this looks like grass, this is grass, kind of deal. You know, this is going to be used to represent, but the material is actually going to be used to show it in-game. This is what will appear in-game. Now what Unreal has done is they've created a thing called the Material Editor. And if we double click on it and bring this guy over, you can see here that it looks a little bit like Kismet. And that's a fair assumption actually. That's not a bad way of looking at it. But unlike Kismet, this is more like a mathematics, like equation engine. You can actually do things inside the editor, like addition, subtraction, multiplication. You can do a sine function, you can apply things over time. They give you all kinds of functions to do this, but I mean, we could spend a whole video on that. But I mean, just to give you an example, say we wanted to do an add function. We're going to break this guy. A second to remember how to do this. There we go. We'll connect it to the diffuse map, which is your basic, well, that's probably the one you're going to be using most, is your diffuse map until you get into this stuff, but at that point usually it's an artist that's dealing with it. And we'll add a constant to it. And if we add 0, it should just be normal. But if we add, let's say 255, not 25, yeah, I guess that works. Pretty much the add function is adding brightness, is pretty much what you're getting at. It's going to add a luminescence to your color. If we put 1 on there, it's pretty bright, 0.5, and you get the idea. It just makes it darker. Alright, and that's what materials are. Let's get some other things in here that we haven't toyed around with yet. Let's import, let me think, do I got any sounds? I do got sounds, I got voices, there we go. Now we'll bring one of my voices in. Let's find something that's a little bit better. There we go. The idle sound for a zombie. We do want to create an audio cue. And I like to make the current sound, or the current volume, the Q volume rather, 1, just so it's 100% of it. I'll import that. Now, a sound node wave and a sound cue are kind of what I was explaining with the texture and the material. It's the same idea. The sound node wave is the raw sound. The sound cue is the compiled sound, which can have equations added to it. So if we double click it, oh right, you have to actually edit. If you click on it, it just plays it. And the same thing as we did with the material editor, you can add different things to it, like looping and all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, it's really, the sky's the limit. You know, as far as that, you can set up properties, you can loop indefinitely, all kinds of stuff. The nice thing about this editor, for both the sound cues and the materials, and this is one thing I forgot to mention, say we had 2 materials, we can go in here and add both materials together. So if you have like a, well, here's a good example. Say you had a gun in your game, and you wanted a red and blue version of it. You can create 3 textures. One which is all the normal colors that'll be there no matter what, one that just shows the red outlines, and one that shows the blue outlines. And what you can do is, out of those 3 textures, you can simply create 2 different materials. Or if you really wanted to be fancy, you could take one material and put a channel in it, and you can change that channel's color to be red or blue with the material editor through Unreal Script, making your gun go red or blue without even having to make a separate texture for it. That's just kind of the power of the Unreal Engine material editor and sound cue editor. They both have the same, basic functionality. You can do that with the sound cue too. You can add sounds together, you can do conditions even, or play random sounds, or just really get in depth with it without having to code like an ambient sound generator. It'll do it for you. It's very powerful how much the editors can do without having to worry about getting a programmer involved. It really allows the gameplay programmer, and your level designers to really work together to make a very interactive game. Alright, so aside from that, that really covers importing materials. There's really not much else to it. I mean, I could sit here and go through every material with you, but even I don't know all the little ins and outs of every single importation type. If you have any questions on those, go to the UDK help docs. UDK Central's pretty good, or just udk.com. Go to the forums; they're usually pretty good. If you have any really specific questions, there's always some people in there to help you out. But until next time, when we talk about, let's see what we got here on the list. Oh, next time we're going to get into some Unreal Script. Some general overview of the Unreal Script language, probably go over a few programming paradigms, some programming topics, and we'll get into it from there. But yeah, until next time, guys, Chris Burkhart signing off, and if you have any questions, videos@codecyclone.com is where you can email me, comment on the video, or you can even check us on Facebook now. We're on Facebook under Code Cyclone. Feel free to like us. We're always posting our latest updates on there, and until next time, guys.